Summertime is vastly approaching us here in the US, so let's do a review over a fragrance from a line that represents those summer vibes very well. The one I am talking about today is from the house of Dolce Gabbana, and it is their new 2025 release in the light blue line, and it is Light Blue Capri in Love. So what you can expect in this full review today, we're going to be talking more about the notes, the chords, the wearability, projection, longevity, and performance. Also going to be touching a little bit more on the presentation, showing you the bottle, along with talking more about the box a little bit. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that jazz, and keep it locked because we're going to be talking more about this smelly water right after this. Let's go ahead and hop more into that presentation. So here's the box again, got the name of the fragrance, got the concentration. This is an Eau de Parfum concentration, DG up top. You got a little kind of art mural, I guess you could say, on this. Very similar to Summer Vibes in the line. And then you got the batch code down here. You can barely see it, but there it is right there. On the back, you got the notes. So let's go ahead and read those. You got black pepper, fig, and patchouli. So yeah, the free note breakdown that all these designer houses are doing. Fun times. At least give me 6 notes, okay? Not just 3. Maybe add 3 more onto that and I'll be a happy person. But whatever, who cares? But here is the bottle. Kind of change up the bottle as well. Cap, they kind of change it up. It clicks into place. You got a sticker at the bottom. Let's go ahead and give this a spray, DG on the top. And I will say I've re-recorded this video a few times, so this room is really smelling like Capri in Love a lot. But yeah, let's go ahead and give it a spray. Look how that atomizer's doing. Nice atomizer. Gotta take a big breath for that one. So let's go ahead and hop more into the notes and the chords and talk about the opening of this fragrance. So to start off, when you initially spray this fragrance, I will say that opening is going to be very punchy. Very punchy. Like all the other designers I've really smelled this year, they really pack that punch in that opening, and there's a reason for that. You know, when people spray on in the department stores, they want to smell something very good, very pleasant, very strong. A lot of people. So I understand. I get it. But going back to kind of some notes of the scent, in that opening, you are getting that sweetness from the fig and the fruitiness from the fig. I will say this is going to be probably the most prominent part of that black pepper. It's going to be very spicy at the top. Fresh spice, warm spice, both combined. It's really spicy, I will say. Black fig, or I said black fig. I meant the fig and the black pepper are going to combine together in this opening, and it's really going to be a nice opening. Nice opening, I will say. But that projection of the opening, it only lasts about, I'd probably say 15-20 minutes. The opening is still around, but the projection dies down, so don't worry. If you think this one's going to be like super beast mode, super projecting, well, I got another thing for you. That's only the first 15-20 minutes. After that, I'd probably say in that first 15-20 minutes, this one's 3 to 4 feet. This one's strong. People are going to be smelling it. This is beast mode. But after that, it rains back. I would say after that 15, 20, possibly maybe, because I've been wearing this a few times, possibly maybe up to 30 minutes, this is going to be a good projector. But after that, it's going to come closer to the skin. I would probably say about 2 feet throughout the whole lifespan of the fragrance. And then towards that late mid, early dry down, it's going to be about 1 foot. And I'll hop more than that in a second. Just want to touch on that. But this is one after this starts drying down in that opening, that the opening does last, okay? I would say the opening's probably going to be dying down maybe around the 2-hour mark, maybe 130. And it might be my nose deceiving me, but I do still get that spiciness throughout that whole kind of range there. And I do get that sweetness and that fruitiness of the fig. But as that opening progresses, it's going to come closer to the skin, and in the whole part of that opening, so maybe from first spray to 2 hours, this is going to be one that is going to, you could be able to smell it constantly in those 2 hours, I will say. And I'll touch more on that mid and that dry down, but let's just say it's different in those aspects compared to that opening. But overall, I am still getting a little citrus-esque feel in this opening, and I think that's what ties it back to that light blue line. I get the more of the light blue vibes in that mid and that dry down, but in the opening I do get a little citrus just on the edge, and I don't know if that's like maybe some bergamot or something, but it's very faint. I do get that a little bit in this scent. Majority of that opening is going to be dominated by the fig and the black pepper, but I also am getting the patchouli. And I will say throughout the whole fragrance's lifespan, this patchouli is an earthy patchouli, okay? It's not something that's going to be kind of sweet, seductive. This is more of that earthiness coming from patchouli. And overall, I would say in the opening, if you're looking for something that is going to be overly sweet, this is not for you. This does have a little touch of sweetness, but if I had to put 3 accords at an opening, we are going to be talking about fruitiness, patchouli, and then we are also going to be mentioning warm spice and fresh spice. Overall, this is not too fresh of a fragrance, I will say, but it does have freshness, like a spicy freshness overall. And the best way I can paint a picture in your head, imagine yourself on an island. Imagine yourself on an island, okay? And this island, it kind of has some coconuts. It has maybe some other kind of fruitiness around. Not tropical, don't think tropical, okay? But you are kind of stranded on this island, and you are not on the beach, okay? You're not on the beach. Let's just say you are stranded on the center of the island, and you got your house and everything like that. You got to build. Basically, your survival skills kicked in. You built the house. It reminds me of being in the middle of the island, not on the beach, not on the outskirts, and having this fruitiness around, maybe there's a fig tree on the island, let's just say that, but that fig is very well done in this fragrance here. And I will say this is a good change of pace from all the rest of the designers being released, in a sense that this focuses on other things such as that fruitiness from that fig, when these other designers are really focused on fresh, citrus, soapy, kind of shower gel type of scents. This one goes in a very different direction. But the opening is something that really caught my attention, I will say. And if you're looking for something that is fruity and very spicy, this opening is for you. Now let's go ahead and talk more about that mid and that dry down. So with the mid and the dry down of the scent, this is where it's going to change. And I will say it's minor changes, okay? So this is going to get more of that patchouli, more of the woody, more of that earthy essence in this. I still would say that sweetness is still around, but it's less prominent. The citrus is completely gone if you do get any of that. This one is going to turn more into, I would say, if I had to put my finger on 3 accords in that mid and that dry down, I would say woody, patchouli, and also earthy, but you are still getting that fig. Okay, I know I said 3, I'm cheating, all right? 4, give me 4. But you are still getting that fig, and that fig is very prominent from opening to dry down, which I really enjoy. I don't really have too much familiarity with fig fragrances. I know Diptyque's got one, and I even know the the Dolce Gabbana has K, and they have fig in that as well. And I've seen a lot of people compare Dolce Gabbana's K, some of the fragrances in their line, to this one here, how the fig comes across. And I can't comment on that. I have never smelled K, but I'm guessing that for a lot of people, this fragrance now is kind of reminding them of K more than light blue. But going back to this scent here, haven't been holding it in my hand the whole time. I should have been holding up the bottle. What are you doing? But going back to that, this is something that is taking the more mature route of the light blue. I know there's some other flankers in this line that are very sweet and go a different route. But this fragrance here is going a different direction. It reminds me of what they did with Italian Love and Forever, which those two are really, really good. I like those a lot. Those are my top two in that in the light blue line. But this one is kind of going that route. It's creating its own path. And if you kind of want more of a mature take, focused on something that is not focused on sweetness, not focused on citrus, and that would work well in the summer, this might be one to check out, because it is something that in the designer realm, it took a chance, and I feel like it succeeded at that, because a lot of designers just go the simple route. But this one did something different, and I know that fig, people are going to relate it to other things from other houses, of course, but this is a nicely done, well-blended fragrance here, and changes up the summer kind of tones overall. But going back to that mid and that dry down, this is going to remind me of still being on that island, of course. And maybe you are eating, maybe you found a fig off the tree. Maybe you're going for some, you need to go out and get food. And you found some figs and you were eating it. So it kind of develops in a sense like the day does. So in that opening, I would say it's going to be more of afternoon time, early afternoon. And then in that dry down, I would say this one is going to be more reminding me of being on that island still, going into early evening time. And I feel like you could wear this any time of the day. This one would work. Now let's talk more about that projection and that performance in that mid and that dry down and throughout the whole lifespan of the fragrance. But this one is going to be one you get wafts of. This isn't going to be a super projecting fragrance, okay? So I would say probably about 2 feet throughout that mid, and then late mid, or I would say when the fragrance is drying down, so towards that end of the mid going into the dry down, this fragrance is kind of going to be non-existent. So it's got good longevity. I would say 6 to 8 hours on the longevity. Projection, I would probably say 2 to 3 hours on that projection. And with that being said, this is waft projection, okay? This isn't one that's constantly burning off your skin and going to burn off somebody else's skin because that projection is so loud. So this is going to be one that you're going to get wafts of. Seasonality, everybody, I said summertime, but overall, I feel like this can be worn any time of year, possibly maybe not in the wintertime, but this has got enough depth to it, the woodiness, and the patchouli, the earthy patchouli. I feel like you could pull this off if it's not a very cold day in the winter. So that's got this going for it. And I will say, for me personally, I really like this release here. And if you know anything about the light blue line, these are all limited edition fragrances. So if you're interested in it, check it out, because they go away pretty soon. I know some of them stick around, some of them don't. It just depends on the fragrance. Like, some of them have been around for years, and then some of them you can't hardly find. But overall, this is a nice fragrance. This is a good change of pace for that summertime, and I'm going to be rocking this. This is going to be part of my rotation. And as of now, this is one of my favorite designers of the year. Yeah, I said it, one of my favorite designers of the year. And it's just a very good fragrance. Very good overall. But if you're looking for something that is going to be lasting 12 hours, then this is not for you, because from my wearings of it, 6 to 8 hours. 6 to 8 hours is the whole longevity of the fragrance. So it'd get you through a work day possibly, but nothing past that. And after, I would say, if you are getting 6 hours, because yesterday I did get probably 8 hours, and I'd probably say if you do get 8 hours from hour 5.5 to 8, this is going to be non-existent. It's just going to have good longevity overall. But this one, I feel like an older guy would go towards a little bit, maybe 25 and up. I'm not saying a younger guy can't wear it, but 25 and up, I feel like this would be really their style of fragrance, their type of fragrance. And, you know, this would be an excellent, I feel like, fragrance with that patchouli in it to wear on a summer date night as well. But I feel like any occasion this would work well in. Maybe not a formal one as much, but a work, yes. Date, yes. Running errands, yes. And overall, I forgot to mention, with this fragrance in the base, you are going, basically in the dry down and the base, I guess you could say, you are going to get that light blue DNA is going to be more prominent, I feel like. It's got some salty aspects to it. My nose picks up, which are very appealing. And overall, I like that saltiness. Saltiness is very good, and it goes back to that kind of intense in that dry down. Overall, if you want to check out this fragrance, see if you can go to a department store, sample. But yeah, this one gets 2 thumbs up from me. Appreciate everybody sticking around this long throughout the video. And I make sure that you all stay healthy, be true, stay positive, and I'll see you all in the next video.